The art of improvisation in music. Improvising is something in my life that showed me a value, that learned me that it's okay to fail, that I do not need to get everything in the right spot with the right moment in the perfect shape. Because improvisation shows me that nothing is permanent. Nothing is always the same. Not everything is repeatable. Things can change. Things can adapt. Things can move on. So, when you break it down to music, this is the perfect example to teach us that we can relax, we can slow down, we can take it easy, we can learn to listen again, and that we do not need to act every time. We can sit down. Mozart once said, the real music happens between the stillness of two notes. So we can reduce the speed. At my job, I need to do a lot of presentations, and at the beginning, I was the best prepared man you could find. Like when I did a presentation and I had a PowerPoint, I had it on a USB stick, I had it in the cloud, I had it on my laptop, I had it on my tablet, so there was no chance that my presentation could get lost. But even though sometimes things happen, you're not prepared. And in that particular case, the internet was down, so the cloud didn't work. The USB stick didn't work because it was a Citrix environment and I was in a pharmaceutical company and I was not allowed to put a USB stick into the computer. So this option was down. I had an Apple MacBook at that time and I had forgotten my adapter, so I couldn't put on my MacBook onto the beamer. So my presentation for 60 people were not just available. In that case, I didn't really feel secure. I was shaking, my pulse rate went up. So what did I do? I just tried to improvise. I put up a flip chart, I put the laptop towards me, and I just scratched it down on the flip chart. I just did what I had to do in that present moment. Break it down again to music. Dave Miles once said, "Don't play what is there. Play what is not there." That brings it down again to the point where we need to learn again to listen and not always to foresee what's going to happen. The definition of improvisation is do, play, or act something you do not foresee. When I did my preparations for this TEDx talk, I had many ideas. But what I'm doing right now has nothing to do with my preparations. I started off completely different, but that's the essence, that's the key. We do not always have a red line in our life that tells me where to start, where to go, what is the next, what is going to happen after that. Sometimes I just cannot foresee what's going to happen. Sometimes the TEDx talk I'm giving is going in a completely different direction. But when I learn to be in my comfort zone, even though sometimes I step out, and I learn that I can be calm here too, because my basic tools I learned and I have are so strong, I can keep my calmness and I can start to improvise. Coming back to improvisation in music, what was first, the composition or the improvisation? Of course it was improvisation, because the composition is nothing else than a written improvisation. So every music we heard here started off with trying out. Do I like it? Does it sound good? Is it good or not? And then you write it down. I have no background in music theory. Actually, I haven't learned even a single instrument I play. I give concerts with about 20 to 25 different instruments from all over the world. The only way I learn them is the same way a little kid explores the world. I just see and look, what is in that instrument? What can I get out? When I blow into a flute, what happens? When I close this hole, what happens? What is the next? What's going to follow? And the second part is I like to recap, I like to catch the energy that is in the room and respond to that in the music. So I don't write songs. All I do is play what comes along. And I would like to play a little song for you that's created by all of us on one of my favorite instruments. It's called handpan. This instrument is really interesting because it's about 18 years old. So it's like a little baby, actually, if you take a look in the music world. It comes out of the family of the steel pans. You might have heard of steel pans from Trinidad and Tobago. 18 years ago, a Swiss couple, they were steel pan builders, and the steel pans you play with little sticks. And they thought it would be nice if you would be able to play it with your hands and not with sticks. So they turned the shape around, and they invented kind of this building. And since then, there are many, many producers all around the world, in Austria, Germany, France, wherever. And they make really good quality products, good quality sounds. The wonderful thing about a handpan is that every tone field has actually 3 tones in it. So it's not like if you would strum the string of a guitar, you have an E, for example. You have 3 tones. So this is the bass note, and you have a higher one. And this is the full note, all 3 together. Okay? That makes it so special because there are a lot of overtones in it. So don't fear that you can fail, because you always can improvise. Thank you.